Oak and the Nematon is also, like, such a godlike trial. Out of all of the trials, Oak and the Nematon, like, just knocks it out of the park in terms of, like, their intended design. It changes the way that you play the game. It still has some interaction with your opponent because they're trying to clear your tokens while you're trying to establish them. It makes you reevaluate cards you normally wouldn't play in order to achieve that trial. It just hits all the proper design notes of a build around card the way it operates. It's super cool. This looks fine. Yo, Cambioti, welcome back. We played a lot of Feather Knight stuff yesterday. We're running into so many artifact Petruvians at this rank. I think it's because it's kind of like Abyssian, where its power is a bit inflated at lower ranks, because players don't know how to properly deal with it. Which is really interesting. If I wanted to protect my Glacial Elemental from Wildfire Ankh, I'd want to step down like this and play the Glacial Elemental here. I keep having Glacial Elemental in my starting hand and going for like a weird turtle opening. But honestly, I think this is fine. Because I have the Animus Plate, the issue is being able to close the distance. And a Hearth Sister can help me with that, and also there's a Dryad. I like it. Glacial Elemental is also perfectly balanced because it doesn't go face. It's meant purely for board control. And I was really happy when they nerfed Saberspine Tiger because it made Glacial Elemental so much better. That Obelisk is not in a very good spot. They didn't even use the mana tile. They could have just summoned it here because it's still out of range, but it's a little bit more central in order to get the dervishes to do work. If I play Iceblade Dryad, that's 2 damage plus 3 damage. So I would need to play one more thing, which would be the Crystal Cloaker. Yeah, that works perfectly. And I can fly the Glacial Elemental. Oh, wait, Staff of Akir. You know what? I think it's fine. Now that we've kind of closed the distance on our opponent in terms of pressure, we don't need the Hearth Sister anymore. We're cutting off the mana down here. My opponent pretty much needs to sacrifice their positioning and their charge to clear the Glacial Elemental here, and then they're still in range of like the Dryad and the Cloaker. And I have Animus Plate as well. You can see here the positioning. They would have to step up here in order to avoid Animus Plate, and they don't go for that play. So yeah, the better positioning would have been here. But by moving here, it's because they're being pressured by the Infiltrate, I think. And they want to move away from the Crystal Cloaker. So now they're in range of Animus Plate. And I have another Frost Iceblade Dryad. I was going to say Frostblade. Iceblade Dryad is actually a broken card. The only reason it's balanced is because Vespers are bad. But, like, this effect is really, really toxic. Like, giving something flying. Remember when, oh my god, they had a card like that. I forget what it was called. It was the one that gave +1/+1 in flying. And it was super degenerate because all you did was you tried to stick something big behind yourself that your opponent couldn't answer, and then you just gave it flying and killed them. Songweaver, that's the one, yeah. People used it with old Sunsteel when it was had Force Field and Celerity, and they would do it with Colossus. Flying death lines were my favorite degenerate meta. Mobility is busted in Duelyst since it's all or nothing. Yeah, they have, you can move 2 spaces, or you have flying and you can move infinite spaces. There's only Prongbok that can move 3 spaces, which is a really interesting mechanic that showed up really late in the game's lifespan. Then there's also Celerity, actually, that lets you move twice, so it's like moving 4 spaces. But Celerity would let you move and attack twice. So if they had like some more in-between... Entropic Decay. This card is really good, by the way. It fell off after Blood of Air, but it's very strong. Wall him and punch? Yeah, that's got to be the play. Is there actually... If I get a second Animus Plate, it's lethal. No dice. This deck. It seems so strong when you actually look at it, but in practice, it's not that good. Because it's super easy to keep Vespers under control. All the Vespers in the game die to most AoEs. But let me tell you, the eternal struggle of having Vespers and not getting Animus Plate. I know that you've seen me do it over and over again, where I'll have like 4 Vespers on board. By some miracle, I'm able to actually get them to stick, and then I'm just hard replacing for Animus Plate over like 3 turns and not getting it. I always wanted Infiltrate to work. Also, it was like a double whammy. Infiltrate, yeah, because they added Donadoro, and then they reworked Wind Sister Maya. They gave her a bit of a stat buff. So when you summon an Infiltrate minion, it got +1/+1. There just wasn't enough Infiltrate minions in the game. If there had been like 1 or 2 more sets, they really could have fleshed out a lot of this.